Please join me now in welcoming Delia Ferreira Rubio, Chair of the Transparency International Board of Directors for the TI Amalia Awards.
Thank you very much, friends and champions that remain with us. Now, I would have said thank you, but he has left. And now we are coming to the traditional and classic award ceremony within the IACC. It is my pleasure to be here with Linda Ofori-Kwafo and Duncan Good. Linda has been the chair of the Anti-Corruption Awards Committee, and Duncan, member of that committee also, and member of the International Board of Directors. It is my honor to present this year's Amalia Award. The award is named after the late Amalia Kosanyan, who was the chair of Transparency International Armenia. She was an anti-corruption hero. In 2010, Transparency International decided to establish an award named after Amalia that honors excellence of anti-corruption fighters. I am delighted really to be here with the colleagues in order to tell you who were shortlisted this year for the award and who the winners are. So, Linda, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Delia. It was a pleasure for the committee to review all the nominations for the award and to see all the outstanding work that our colleagues around the world are doing. We give out the award in two categories: impact and professional excellence. We will now present the shortlisted candidates and the recipients for each category. Amalia Award for Professional Excellence recognizes an individual that has made an outstanding contribution to the fight against corruption. Two candidates were shortlisted in this category. Magali Avila from Transparency International's chapter in Peru is dedicated to shedding the light on corruption in the Amazon forest that has led to deforestation, illegal logging, and human rights abuses. She has worked tirelessly to make these crimes visible beyond the environmental movement. Along with indigenous organizations, Magali and her team present cases in which Amazonian indigenous leaders came under violent attack after speaking about illegal activities on their ancestral homelands. Congratulations on your well-deserved recognition, Magali.
It is my pleasure now to present you with the 2022 recipient of the Amalia Award for Professional Excellence, Mayra Martini. Research Mayra is the research and policy expert on corrupt money flows and at Transparency International Secretariat. In the 11 years that Mayra has been with Transparency International. She has been a true asset in the fight against illicit financial flows and dirty money. Mayra is a visionary and yet practical advocate. This has meant that the evidence-based policy solutions that she puts forward are both game-changing and, within our research, from a new EU authority to supervise banks to a permanent multilateral task force to trace kleptocratic assets. Earlier this year, we celebrated the revision of the global standard on beneficial ownership transparency, and it was precisely Mayra who first recommended for this and then pushed for that at the highest level of decision-making to make it possible. Congratulations.
On government relations, which is essentially lobbying, I realize the power that those organizations that have a lot of money to spend have on their hands when they can produce material and try to influence different legislative process, even if done in a transparent manner and so on. That's when I realized that I wanted to do that, but I wanted to do that from the other side, representing a broader set of interests, so doing this for the common good. And that's what took me actually to Germany to study public policy. I knew already about the work of Transparency International, and immediately when I had opportunity, this was the first place I looked to work at. And I joined TI in a 3-month contract, and here I am after 11 years. I come from a family that have been involved in social movement since I was born, basically. So I grew up helping communities to get mobilized, and I think great part of my childhood and teenage years I actually spent helping those people to get organized and to fight for their rights. For me, fighting corruption is not an end in itself. I want to see a more just world out there for my daughter, for the people I love, and for those who need the most. And that's what have been motivating me. I think it's really finding a place for those in society that don't have the same opportunities many of us have. Being part of the TI movement, I think it's extremely inspiring. I'm really glad that I get to work with so brave colleagues across the globe. And then on the day-to-day work here at the Secretariat, I'm inspired daily by my colleagues and friends. Our work doesn't give immediate results, right? We need to work very long sometimes to see one law changed. But it's very, very rewarding if we see the impact this can have on people's lives.
Mayra, would please
Good that I can't see anything from here, otherwise I would start crying immediately. So thank you so much. It's so great. I'm actually speechless. But let me first congratulate Magali. And I say what inspiration she is. As a Brazilian, and please no World Cup jokes today, I'm glad we have someone like her fighting to keep the Amazon forest standing. So thank you so much. Let me also thank the Transparency International movement for this recognition. It's such an honor to receive this award. I joined Transparency International more than 10 years ago, and it has been an incredible journey. I have been fighting for more justice and equality since I was little, following the steps of my parents. And I know that change and impact take time and require persistence. For an workaholic like me, this means grabbing every single opportunity that appears, and sleepless nights, and patience from my family. So I thank them as well. But the best is that I don't do any of this alone, and I have been learning every day from the generosity and ability of my current and former colleagues at the TI Secretariat, the enthusiasm of the amazing GAC team, which is my refugee for nerd anti-corruption talks, the passion of my chapter colleagues, and particularly here my fellow Brazilians who built a chapter from scratch during one of the darkest times the country has been through. And the resilience of our activists across the movement and beyond, as we just saw here today, and to many of those who are now passing through really difficult times, and TI Ukraine, TI Madagascar, TI Russia, TI Venezuela, I'm thinking of you. And finally, in the last years, the commitment, diligence, and team spirit of the TI Dirty Money team, in particularly Eka, who has been essential in everything we achieved in the last years. All of them have made me a much better professional and also a much better person. So thank you all so much for trusting my work, giving me the space to try, to fail, and for being there also to celebrate our achievements. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra, so much. I'm new to the movement. I have to say that Myra talked about passion there, and I've been impressed throughout my first year with transparency in terms of the passion that I've seen, and I was overwhelmed by the submissions for the Amalia Awards, just to see both the passion and the impact. And it's now my distinct pleasure to announce the shortlisted candidates in the impact category. This category recognizes a team, initiative, or campaign that has had an extraordinary impact on advancing the goals of Transparency International and the wider fight against corruption. 3 candidates were shortlisted in this category. The first shortlisted team is the team at the Daphne Caruana Galizia Foundation, Transparency International's national contact point in Malta. The foundation has been the driving force behind the establishment and civil society oversight of the public inquiry into the tragic assassination of prominent Maltese journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia, who was an anti-corruption hero. The foundation, set up by her family members, has mobilized partners to demand justice and accountability, leading to remarkable results. It was the first assassination of a journalist worldwide to be investigated through an independent public inquiry. The small team at the Daphne Foundation works relentlessly to improve rule of law, good governance, transparency, political integrity, and public accountability in Malta, and to stop Malta from being a safe haven to the corrupt from around the world. Some illustrations of their impact include increasing government accountability on major public contracts and other matters of public interest in Malta, exposing the shady workings and due diligence failings in the sale of EU passports, and using legal action to drive institutional reform and accountability. Congratulations to Matthew, Tina, Corrine, and other members of the team. The second shortlisted team is the Transparency International Secretariat team working on beneficial ownership transparency. When Transparency International first recommended the revision of the global standard on beneficial ownership transparency of companies in 2019, few believed it was something within the realm of possibilities. In response, our Secretariat team mobilized partners and allies and made sure that beneficial ownership registers were on the agenda of every major international gathering, from the UN General Assembly Special Session Against Corruption to the Summit for Democracy. These collective efforts culminated in a success in March of this year, when the Financial Action Task Force agreed to revise the global standard, now requiring that every country sets up a beneficial ownership register or sufficient alternative. This is a game changer. More than 200 jurisdictions will have to follow the new standard, including financial centers that have so far been reluctant to fix the gaps in their frameworks. Congratulations to Mayra, Eka, Adriana, Cornelia, Marie, Gillian, and other colleagues that have contributed to this work.
This is the part of the winner is. It is my pleasure to present you now the 2022 recipient of the Award for Extraordinary Impact, and in very extraordinary situations, I would add. Transparency International, Ukraine. Transparency International chapter in Ukraine was fully reestablished at a critical moment in the country's history, months after the 2014 Revolution of Dignity, which saw the ousting of corrupt former President Viktor Yanukovych. Thanks to their dedication and highly impactful work, anti-corruption efforts in Ukraine have come a long way since then. The award-winning Prosoro online platform for government tenders, which they created, is just one example of the achievements of the TI Ukraine chapter. After Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February, Transparency International Ukraine found the courage and determination to keep on going. Embracing their civic duty, our Ukrainian team initially pivoted to focus on providing humanitarian support to those who most needed it. But the ongoing war hasn't stopped them from working towards the crucial mission. As part of the Rise Ukrainian coalition, Transparency International Ukraine has teamed up with other domestic and international organizations and agencies to ensure that corruption does not derail efforts to rebuild the country. Transparency International Ukraine shows us all how important our work is and that the fight against corruption is an integral part of the defense of democracy. Their fight inspires all of us to take our fight one step further. Congratulations.
Transparency International Ukraine is an anti-corruption organization that on a daily basis fights corruption and promotes anti-corruption reforms and good governance reforms.
Our work now during the Russian aggression is important as never before.
Наша організація допомагає робити Україну сильнішою. У нас є ряд проєктів, які були направлені на це ще до війни, а зараз вони будуть доволі актуальними.
Since the war started, we have also focused on monitoring transparency and accountabilities of funds that are given to us for reconstruction.
Ми сьогодні згуртовані як команда Transparency, ми згуртовані як український народ, ми згуртовані як волонтери, які донатять мільйони гривень. То головне – вміти гуртуватися і взаємодіяти в коаліціях. І таким прикладом, наприклад, сьогодні є коаліція Rise Ukraine, відповідно, співзасновником якої є також Transparency International Україна, робота якої націлена на ефективну, продуктивну, якісну відбудову України після війни.
I think that the 21st of February has changed everything for us, but it also helped us to become highly adaptive to the circumstances that are always changing.
Робота під час війни навчила бути адаптивними, гнучкими і підтримувати один одного ще більше.
People around you is a main asset because finally people who are your team are those with whom you spend most of the time during the day.
Я впевнений, що вся команда і всі ми вийдемо точно сильнішими після війни і націлені на перемогу, на боротьбу з корупцією.
Я впевнена, що ми допомагатимемо ставати країні сильнішою, кращою, більш стійкою, долати корупцію і разом з нею розвиватись і йти в наше спільне світле майбутнє.
There is a long and difficult road ahead of us, but our daily work in fighting corruption brings us a little bit closer to this goal.
We are Transparency International Ukraine.
Please, dear Ukraine team, come on stage. The whole team, please.
I'm not so prepared as Myra with my speech, honestly, but with what I definitely agree, I can see absolutely anything because of the slides. I'll be quick, don't worry. Thank you, TI Movement, for this recognition, but obviously in this situation which we have now in my country, this is not a recognition to me or to Katya, my colleague, or to our team. This is a recognition to all Ukrainians. Each and every to each and every Ukrainian who's now fighting on the battlefield or off the battlefield, in every profession, investigative journalists, civil society activists, experts, electricians, everybody who is fighting, everybody trying to protect what is written on that banner, defending the democratic values. And believe me, we surprised the world that we're still standing with our resilience. And we will surprise you many times in the future, at least twice, with our victory over Russian invaders. And victory over corruption. Slava Ukraini!
Thank you, Transparency International Ukraine, for your courage and hard work. All nominees this year are anti-corruption heroes. They made and continue to make important achievements for our cause, and that is what matters. My sincere thanks to all my colleagues in the committee, Onyi, who couldn't be here with us, and Duncan. To our chair, Delia, I think she deserves a hand of applause for all the hard work that she does. And to all of you for being active and sending such great nominations. Your stories, your impact, your professional excellence is our motivation. This award is just a small gesture of appreciation for the immense impact you are having in striving towards a world free of corruption. Thank you very much on behalf of the committee.
Thank you to Delia, and congratulations again to all the Amalia Award winners and to the nominees. Can we give them another round of applause?